Hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to build a website for free for kids. This is a example site that's on the 90NN community server, and it shows you how simple it actually is to build a website on here. So I'm going to log into the system. Oh, and by the way, this is assuming that you've already created a website using one of the templates on the system. So the first thing you're going to notice is that I put a Google Analytics module down at the bottom here and stuff so that I can actually trace what's going on with this site using Google Analytics. The trick with Google Analytics is setting up the permissions properly. You want to make sure that you're the only one that can view the analytics. Other than that, it simply displays like it is and just put your actual tracking ID or your project ID in this field here and then click on update. Now, what I did for the opening page was that I simply put two text HTML boxes on the main page, and one just contained a nice little animated graphic of little Lily there watching the computer, and the other one has a description of what this is all about. Then I added a tab called Games for Boys. Now, how I did that was I simply added a page. I went up and chose and highlighted pages, and then chose Add, and under there I turned around, I gave it a page name, which is what you see appear up at the top, and the title will appear up in the title up there. And then I said where I wanted it to appear, and I set up my permissions and so on and so forth. Now, if we actually go to Games for Boys, you'll see that inside of here, we've actually got a game and a description of how it was built. Now, what's really nice about this is that if you look at the way we've done the pages and stuff, first of all, as I was describing, inside the pages, one thing that's weird using these type of games is that this will happen. Well, that is exactly why we've actually built into the system other functionality. So if you go up and you go under admin and choose the pages module, and click on Games for Boys, you'll be able to access all the functionality that was there. So, for instance, all the permissions, all the settings. If it decides to load up, that is. Seems my system's dragging a little bit today. So, as you'll see, what I did was I actually put in the page name Game for Boys, and then I put the title How to Build a Games web page for free for boys. And then I set up the permissions so that everybody could see it, and the modules that are on there. There's your Google Analytics module and then the Live Wrapper module. So let's go back to that Games for Boys. Now what I did was I actually dropped what we call a Live Wrapper module on the screen here and stuff, and that's what's handling all of this. So how did I deal with that? I go to Manage, I choose Manage Contact, and inside of here you can see I've designed the actual page. What I've done is I've created a table in here. Now the important part here is that I went to a site called Game Treat, and I actually retrieved a game that I could embed into my web page. So what I did with it was I used the snippet tab. So if I go into the snippets, you'll see that I've got an entry in there called Wild Wild Taxi. And if I edit that entry, you'll see that I pasted into the content field this script. Well, this script here you can get from Game Treat, and it displays how you can. It actually allows you to embed the Wild Wild Taxi game into your system. So then what I did was I designed my actual wrapper. So I designed the whole screen here. Now the nice thing about this is you can actually toggle this to full screen mode. So what I did was I actually turned around, I created a table in here, and I did that by utilizing the actual table module. You look have the table module here. That's just, you can choose and pick and choose what you want in there. So, and then what I did was I typed in each spot what I wanted. Then I put my Wild Wild Taxi page, and I put my graphic over here, and a description down the bottom, and a link back to our server so that you can create your site. And then I simply updated it, and then I returned. And then we have our page for the Wild Wild Taxi game. It takes a second for it to load up sometimes, but that's the nature of these Flash games. And now I'll go over to the Games for Girls tab. You'll notice it's got a different skin, but I've done the same thing inside of the main screen. I went to Game Treat and I retrieved one of the games and filled it all in. But how I changed the skin was quite simple. If I go to the actual, we'll go back to our pages because it's easier to see from here. Let's go to Games for Girls. And what you'll notice is down under Appearance, I chose a different page skin and a different default container. Now, if you've watched previous videos, you'll remember that the containers are for the modules themselves that you've dropped onto the screen. So it's that simple. And then once you have everything in place, then when you simply log out, if you click on each tab, here's the Games for Boys. You can see it's got a description of it, and Games for Girls, and a description. And you can see it's actually quite quick if you're not actually designing. So it's that simple, and enjoy. Thank you.